of the recruiting battalion that the station and the company belong to.
Maureen Haver, you're founder of Not Even One, notevenone.org. Your husband served in Iraq. He was involved in freeing Eric from the hotel. Can you talk about these practices in Texas as you understand them?
Sure, and I want to make a clarification. Earlier, I was referred to as a counter-recruitment activist, and it's really a matter of truth in recruitment. If you want to join the military, that is your right and prerogative. In the same manner, if you don't want to join the military, it is also your right and prerogative not to join the military. And what's happening is with the delayed enlistment program contract, it doesn't clearly explain to the young men and women who sign up for the DEP contract what their actual rights are in terms of requesting separation. It doesn't explain that at all. And Ted Poe actually indicated in his interview with CBS that the DEP contract needs to be rewritten.
I want to explain that Ted Poe is a Republican congressman from Texas.
Yes. And this is really a bipartisan issue because this is about, are we going to be lying to teenage kids about joining the military? This should be a concern for everybody. But going back to your question that's specifically looking at the situation in Houston and in Texas, Congressman Green referenced that this has happened before at this recruitment station. It happened in 2005, where a recruiter made a threat that was caught on voicemail, where he told a young man that if he didn't show up for an appointment, he was going to issue a federal warrant. The Army issued a national stand-down of recruitment offices and promised that this was going to be fixed. And what CBS uncovered months after the initial story broke in 2005 was that Sergeant Kelt, the recruiter in question who had caused the national stand-down, was actually promoted as supervisor at another office. This to me indicates that behavior like this is being rewarded. There's also evidence from a 2006 GAO study that shows that allegations of abuse have increased from 4,400 cases to 6,500 cases, and that's with the latest information that we have from the GAO, and this is nationwide. So we're looking at a systemic problem that's taking place. It's unusual that we've had two national stories coming out of Greenspoint Recruitment Station, but I think the evidence in the GAO study in 2006 indicates that this is a widespread problem that's taking place throughout the country.
I want to go to that recruiter you just mentioned. This is from 3 years ago from the same recruiting station in Houston, as you said, Greenspoint Recruiting Station. This is the message that Sergeant Kelt, Thomas Kelt, left for a high school student in 2005.
Hey, Chris, this is Sergeant Kelt, the Army, man. I think we got disconnected. Okay, I know you're on your cell probably, and you just had bad connection or something like that. I know you didn't hang up on me. Anyway, by federal law, you got an appointment with me at 2 o'clock this afternoon at Greenspoint Mall, okay? That's the Greenspoint Mall Army Recruiting Station at 2 o'clock. Fail to appear, and we'll have a warrant, okay? So give me a call back.
That was Sergeant Kelt. Douglas Smith, your spokesperson for the U.S. Army Recruiting Command in Kentucky. He said they're going to have a warrant out for his arrest if he doesn't show up. Is that improper?
Yes, it is. Our regulations are quite clear that recruiters are not to coerce or threaten applicants or future soldiers in any way.
The military removed him, but it turns out he was just moved to another recruiting station, and he was actually promoted. Is that the policy of the military?
Well, I'm hampered by privacy restrictions. All I can tell you that an administrative action was taken against Sergeant Kelt, and that administrative action was a negative action. However, the finding was that he had an otherwise stellar career as a soldier and as a recruiter, and he was given additional responsibilities as a recruiting station commander, which he continues to do so today. Just because someone has done something wrong doesn't mean that they get the death penalty.
Well, there's a difference between the death penalty and a promotion. He was actually promoted after this and came to be the commander of another recruiting station.
Yes.
What was the negative penalty if he was promoted?
I'm not allowed to tell you. I'm sorry. That's covered under the Army regulations and Department of Defense regulations. I cannot discuss administrative actions taken against a recruiter.
Congressman Gene Green, your thoughts?
Well, that's why we need the Armed Services Committee of the House of Representatives to do an investigation. The GAO study pointed this out 2 years ago, and it seems like there is a problem within the Department of Defense. The American people in Congress many years ago went to an all-volunteer Army. That's what we're having. And we need to make it work instead of the subterfuge and the playing games and trying to get young men and women to join. We want them to join. And like I said, Texas and Harris County has a great recruitment record, Texas particularly compared to other states, of folks serving in our military. But I want them to be willing to go and willing to serve. There are a great many benefits, education-wise, for folks who serve in the military, and Congress just enacted a new GI Bill to do that. But we need to sell the positive side, and these games that are being played, one puts a black eye on the military, and I would hope that we don't have a whole lot of our young men and women who are serving who are actually tricked into serving. We don't have a draft. We don't play games. If you want to go, you can go, and here are the benefits, and here's your responsibility. Don't put them in a hotel and guard them. Don't threaten to put them that you're going to send a warrant out. I don't know if a sergeant has the authority to issue a warrant. Frankly, members of Congress can't issue a warrant for someone. So, you know, this is a hard sell that, at the very least, and it shouldn't be allowed.
And Amy, the GAO study...
Maureen Haver, again, founder of NotEvenOne.org.
The GAO study that we're referencing in 2006 is the latest study that's been made available. And even within that study, they cited a Department of Defense internal survey of recruiters that stated that 20% of active recruiters felt that recruiter irregularities happen frequently. And irregularities are defined as willful acts of omission and improprieties. So when we have even 20% of active recruiters are saying that this is happening frequently, we need a response. And I think it's clear that the Department of Defense is not responding to these issues.
Douglas Smith, your response to what Maureen Haver is saying, and also the pressure the military is facing right now with fewer people wanting to go and the quotas that these recruiters have to meet every month.
Well, first of all, I'd like to remind everyone that I'm a spokesperson for U.S. Army Recruiting Command and not the other services. We have more than 8,300 Army recruiters across the country who are working day in and day out within the regulations that we expect them to work and living up to their Army values. We take it very seriously, all of us, when even one recruiter is accused of doing something improper. We investigate and take appropriate actions as necessary. We don't take this lightly. We do have annual training. Recruiters get annual training on the ethics of recruiting each year. That follows up on the training they get when they go to the recruiting and retention school, and it builds upon training that they receive throughout the year at their company level. We've made it quite clear that we take these things seriously, and we investigate when we learn of a problem, which is what we're doing right now in Houston.
An Army investigator contacted Irving once, and Irving was